Our next speaker, as he can make his way up here, Shankar. I think your mic is on. You got your mic on? Oh, he's good. He's hooked up. I met Shankar through my good friend Joe Hunter in our church. Joe has done a lot of work with refugees in town. And Shankar recently became a U.S. citizen. Isn't that great? His wife is here as well. Could she raise her hand? Yeah, there you go. He earned his bachelor's degree in business administration from Darjeeling Government College in India. He's a founding member of two nonprofit organizations in the U.S., the Bhutanese Community Development of Lancaster, PA, and the Bhutanese Nepali Churches of America. He currently is attending Eastern Mennonite Seminary in Harrisonburg and is also serving as a pastoral intern at his church there in Virginia. And his talk is called Receiving Hospitality and Grace. And when I think of Shankar and his story, coming to America, certainly coming to Lancaster, he has been a recipient of the kind of grace and neighborliness Q has been talking about all evening. But I have to say, knowing Shankar and knowing just a little bit about him, I have to say I have received hospitality and grace from him, just through his smile and his friendship with Joe and the people I've seen him take in, and the way he has ministered to his own people and labored and still labors tirelessly for them. So let us welcome with hospitality and grace, Shankar Rai.
Imagine if you had to leave your home and your country at midnight, abandoning everything that you have ever owned because of the fear of persecution. And imagine, with nothing but the clothes that you were wearing, you were sent to another country in a refugee camp, to live in a refugee camp for 18 plus years without electricity and running water. And imagine, if you are in a new country, in a new world, where you do not know the language, their system, and the culture. You are like an alien in the midst of busy people. My story is not very different than what you have just imagined. I have been through this journey with hundreds of thousands of others. After Bhutan government expelled Nepali ethnic group because of their Nepali origin, Nepal took them in, letting them to stay along its eastern border, but in refugee camp, under the condition of controlled movement, restricted ability to work, and limited access to local justice system, and refused to settle them permanently. As a result, I became a Bhutanese refugee in the country that I say I am originally from. Now let us look, what or who refugees are. According to the definition of UNHCR, a refugee is someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of persecution, war, or violence. A refugee has a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or membership in a particular social group. Most likely, they cannot return home or are afraid to do so. And I grew up learning that I am a refugee boy, expelled from my homeland and abandoned and rejected by the country of my ancestor. I am weak and puny because I am stateless or refugee. I belong to nowhere. I do not have even a small piece of land to claim that is mine. My life is full with poverty, insufficiency, and austerity. In all of those, the most painful part of my life are those moments when I was compelled to hide my identity. I made identity many times because it was better for me to hide the real me than to introduce as refugee and suffer from humiliation and discrimination. Yes, it was very disappointing and frustrating when I had to introduce myself as someone else and not able to say who I really was. But I didn't have courage before the fear of rejection, hatred, and bigotry. I grew up wishing if I could delete the tag of refugee, a curse for humanity, permanently from my every part of mind, soul, and body. However, it was not that easy. Before continuing my story further, let us look at some of the facts. According to the data of Pennsylvania Refugee Resettlement Program, over the past 3 years, Lancaster County has helped to resettle 1,630 refugees from Cuba, Somalia, Burma, Bhutan, and other nations. Among Pennsylvania counties, Lancaster ranked third in the number of refugees resettled in the past 3 years. It trailed only Philadelphia, which resettled 1,935 refugees, and Erie County, which resettled 1,669. What we have to understand clearly is that refugees are here in search of a safe haven. Lancaster certainly has become that haven to thousands of them, giving identity to those who were without identity and a hope of bright future to those who were waiting for their dark future. And among those thousands of refugees, I was one of them to arrive in this heaven, to which now I call my home in 2010. While looking back my 6 years of journey, I gathered both good and bad experiences. There are things that I even don't want to remember, and the things that I will be grateful for in my entire life. I came across many people. Some ignored me, rejected me, and dumped me. However, there are those beautiful people who walked with me when I was struggling to navigate my way for good. They stood by me when I needed them the most. They are the reason I'm here today. I had once almost lost my identity and had no hope for future. Today, I am someone who has a dream, and in the dream, a hope. The hope where my dream comes true. Today I know what I want to do, and I know how I can contribute to my community and beyond. It became possible not only by my effort and my hard work, but because of those people who has a beautiful heart and were hospitable and gracious to me when my needs were real. My decision to come to this country is not only because of the fact that this country is rich, developed, and well known to be the land of opportunity, but because I was tired of living my life, living a life of alien among my own people. I believe that the people of this country will let me be who I am and accept me the way I look and the way I sound. God calls us to love our neighbor. An expert in the law asks Jesus, who is my neighbor? We might be asking the same question today. In the story of Good Samaritan, Jesus made it clear that the man who was attacked, beaten, and left half dead was the neighbor of a Good Samaritan. Who is yours? Can we be the Good Samaritan to those who come across our life? Can we be the hope to those who have no hope? And can we share hospitality and grace to those who are robbed, stripped, and beaten by their own people? They are all around us. Can we see them? I would like to invite you all to look at refugee beyond its given definition. Look at them carefully and see the struggles and challenges they go through every day. Look at those eyes that are searching for someone who would show them grace and hospitality. Share love and care, and you will be surprised by the love and care that you will receive in return. In the end, my message is this: share hospitality and grace, not out of sympathy, but out of empathy. Let us not be hospitable just because you are privileged and they are pitiable. Let us not be hospitable just because we have food to feed and they are hungry. Let us not be hospitable just because we feel honorable in doing so and the people will applaud us for what we do. But let us be hospitable because that is the right thing to do. Let us be hospitable because that is what Jesus Christ commanded us to do. And finally, let us be hospitable and gracious because that's whom we have become by imitating the love of Christ. Thank you.